make you realize what is my vision for Pakistan. My vision for Pakistan is the same vision which was of the founding fathers of Pakistan. The founding fathers of Pakistan, the great ideological leader Allama Iqbal, and then our greatest, in fact, one and the only great leader, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Their vision for Pakistan was that it should be based on the principles of the first Muslim state of Medina, formed by a prophet, Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now that Medina state was a modern state. It was a state which imbibed all modern principles of the most advanced states in the world. It was based on two principles: justice and compassion. They were the basis of the state of Medina. It became the first welfare state in the history of mankind. It became a state where rule of law was such that the head of the state, even the head of the state, was under the rule of law. And one big incident I always give to people, that the Khalifa, the head of the state of the time, lost a case against a Jewish citizen because the judge would not take the testimony of his son. So no one was above law. And every citizen, regardless of his religion, his ethnicity, was equal in the eyes of law. So number one was rule of law, and number two, the first welfare state in the history of mankind, where all the weak strata of society were taken care by the state. So widows, orphans, handicapped, poor people, and pensions were introduced during the state of Medina. So the old people were also taken care of by the state. So this is what the state was built upon: tolerance, justice. And that state became the basis of one of the greatest civilizations in history for the next 700 years. Pakistan was meant to emulate that state. We lost our way. We went far away from that ideal. And if you ask me why Pakistan could not achieve its great God-given potential, it's because of this fact, that nations without a vision eventually die. There is always a vision that keeps members of a human community together. When the reason why the human community should have been together, when that reason fades away, so does that nation. So my vision is to go back to the reason why Pakistan was made. Go back to the vision of Pakistan, what the founding fathers envisaged Pakistan to be. So a welfare state. Even though our country is suffering from probably its worst economic crisis, we have already embarked upon making this our country into a welfare state. We've started first time health insurance in Pakistan for the weakest section of the society. We've given almost 6 million families have been given a health insurance where they can go to any hospital and get basic health care. Then we've started these shelter homes for people living on the streets. We have set up almost now 200 shelter homes where people can go and sleep, get food. And this program is going to be expanded all over the country. Then we have probably, in Pakistan's history, allocated the greatest amount of money for poverty alleviation in a program called Asas. And the program envisages giving the poorest of poor cash handouts. We've increased that number. And then, of course, helping them to graduate out of poverty by giving them ways and means of making a living, giving them livestock and so on, educating them skills, loans. The greatest number of scholarships ever given in Pakistan history, again, to the intelligent and poorer section of the society. This is just the beginning. As time passes, the whole attention of the government is going to be how to lift the poorer section of the society. In modern day, we are inspired by the example of China, which raised 700 million people in the last 30 years out of poverty. So, allow wealth creation, but use that extra wealth to help the lower section of the society. Close the gap between the rich and the poor. And this, for me, is the society we want in Pakistan, a civilized society. Rule of law, we have a big problem in our country. There's a certain elite section of the society which is above law, which considers itself above law. We have developed these mafias over a period of time, cartels use their power to artificially raise prices, which the poor people have to pay. So political mafias. So the two-tier: one, to raise people out of poverty; second, to fight these mafias which are keeping this country back. So that's, in a nutshell, my vision of Pakistan. And let me just now go on to the other reason, because this is the Islamic Center. I came to Malaysia this time. Number one, it's always a pleasure to meet our role model, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, who we consider someone who's a statesman who's changed the destiny of so many people. We have seen how Malaysia transformed in my lifetime, how Malaysia developed. But what I also like about Malaysia, it's a very civilized society. Why do I say civilized society? I find there is a harmony between religions, between ethnic groups, which I think is, as I repeat, hallmark of a civilized society. We like to look upon the golden age of Islam. All different religions lived together. There was tolerance, acceptance. Religion was never treated as something which people could be brought in through force. Religion was purely something about the heart and the mind, not physical. And in Malaysia, you see this tolerance, the way